Hello, everyone, and welcome to MindShareTV. I'm your host, Robert Martellacci, founder of MindShare Learning and C21 Canada. I'm especially excited today's conversation because it speaks to something close to my heart. When I launched the Schools of the Future Challenge, the goal was simple and important to inspire teachers to share innovation, spirit, and national scale and help move beyond pockets of innovation. We now have amazing things that are happening in classrooms every day. The challenge is about shining a light on the work and creating space for ideas to spread. Now, in its 18th edition, the challenge is taking a powerful new focus: AI plus student well being. This year's students are invited to create a prototype, startup, or a program that gives students agency and helps them thrive. And with just 30 days to enter, this is a perfect time for educators and students to bring their ideas to life. Joining me today is Umber Khan, a literacy instructional coach who's here to share her perspective on why this matters and how educators can bring the challenge to life with their students. She is last year's first prize winner of the 17th Canadian EdTech Innovation Challenge. Umber, thank you for joining me on MindShare TV.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's a pleasure to be here today. I really love the vision behind the challenge because it gives both the educators and students permission to think boldly and really create something meaningful that is impactful at the same time. It brings our new innovation stuff together. It brings practice together, and I'm really looking forward to diving deeper into that today.
Thank you for that. And just to give a little context, Umber is part of the Peel District School Board. We had a wonderful celebration last year coming to visit your previous school. We've given away over $1 million in prizing in 18 years. And it's never been a more exciting time to be in education. Um, Talk to me about that journey. It is about the journey, and the AI journey is a complex one. It's being compared to the Industrial Revolution. I was hearing on my way back from Chicago last night, the NVIDIA CEO Jensen was talking about the second industrial revolution being the AI revolution, and you're at the forefront of it in education, and it's tremendous the potential. The you're part of the Peel is part of the AI use case project with C21 and Dell, as Dell is a lead sponsor here as well. We're grateful for that. And one of the teacher librarians created this GBT for literacy reading, and so kids are being getting book recommendations based on where they're at with their reading level. I think that's a practical approach to using AI. It's not it needs guardrails, and you no doubt have embraced it in some ways, and I use it daily for purposeful uses, whether I need to create a news release or gets to generate some ideas.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you know, in this day and age when things are moving so fast,
Mhm.
the students are learning at such a fast pace. And how are we as educators keeping up? And one way of doing that, a terminology that we use in school is culturally responsive and relevant pedagogy, right? So,
Right.
how are we keeping up with that as educators when AI is all around us? How are we utilizing that appropriately with guidance to better and improve our learning experience? So, really involving the students, letting them drive their path, and giving them the tools and the resources needed with the efficient practice and application to have that new knowledge stick and really making everything visible, right? So I think
Right.
it's important because student well-being really sits at the foundation of everything else. When students
Well
feel
said.
supported included, and empowered, they're better able to learn and contribute and grow. So even with my project last year with the sustainable cities, that was
Right.
hands on, building every aspect of your city. Students were using measurement for math. Students were researching of energy sources. Students were experiencing gadgets like spheros, and all of that
And
experience.
what grade were they in? Sorry to interrupt, but just
That's
give
okay.
context. What grade were they in? Because that was remarkable. I was so impressed with them, and so great
Yes.
to have them at our summit too.
Right. So last year it was 130 grade A students. I had,
Incredible.
yes, and I had a privilege of working with an excellent teaching partner, Nicole we met. I'm going to give her a shout out here.
Nice.
So we really designed the foundation of our lessons, and it was the UDL model. It was a design thinking process. So now we're applying all these creative processes in place while keeping the ed tech side of things and the AI side of things up there, right? So with that, students were building with their hands. They were getting concrete examples of what it looks like to work in a team. They were getting problem solving skills. They were getting communication skills and whatnot, right? So it's a
Brilliant.
holistic approach. And
I
then
love
this
that.
year, my project, which we will be sharing more of with MindShare, as you guys are going to be supporting us with that as great partnership, is we're building businesses. So once again,
Oh,
students are the
wow.
drivers. We have
Right.
27 businesses with over 60 students right now. And
Congrats.
thank you.
Entrepreneurship, that journey, that problem solving journey is what a great way to inspire kids learning and really engage them in real world examples. Kudos to you for your leadership with that.
Thank you. And every day I go home feeling so proud and what the students are
Amazing.
teaching me, right? So we're in the prototype phase right now. We're just,
Fantastic.
even today, we had a great meeting with the students and our wonderful librarian at school to learn about what materials do we need for the 3D printing? What materials do we need for the Cricut? And
Right.
even printing the logos for our businesses involves AI. We use AI to support us with that. So there's
Fantastic.
so many entry points for us to bring this all
Right.
together. So, having an everyday relevant project like this really creates an opportunity for students to think about how technology can be used thoughtfully, ethically, and more importantly, student centered to really support our success.
So well said. Tell me what got you on this journey with an innovator's teaching mindset? Who inspired you? How did you evolve your teaching practice? Because that's part of the journey in scaling and getting beyond pockets of innovation. Leadership is about mentorship, isn't it?
Absolutely. And this is a very deep question, Robert, for me, because I absolutely love what I do. I come to work every day wanting to learn, wanting to make a
Amazing.
positive impact, and I'm so passionate about it, right? Every year I'm like, I'm going to do less projects because I'm spreading myself out too thin. But when I see the dedication, and I apologize if it's a little bit loud, we're just having transition in the hallway right
No,
now.
it's about students, so I love the student noise in the background. Please.
So I'm very passionate about it, and just to see the joy in the students when they achieve something, when they believe in themselves. I'm going to share a very short example. One
Right,
of the entrepreneur projects is two girls who are passionate about uh, making sustainable and affordable reusable pads. It's a topic that we don't talk about enough
right.
um,
Wow.
when it comes to equity, right?
Right.
So that's their purpose. And yesterday they were feeling a little bit defeated. This is a real life example from just yesterday.
Yeah.
They were feeling very defeated because they're like, Miss Khan, how are we going to sew 100 of these by our deadline? And
Oh,
what?
wow.
Why don't we just stop right now? We have the vision. Maybe we'll do this next year. I looked into my resource connections and I was talking to a great organization. I'm going to give them another shout out, Hago, which is Help a Girl Out. They sent a
Oh, wow.
facilitator over and they taught us how to sew yesterday in a 2-hour workshop. And the students were physically jumping in joy and cheering themselves on when they finished a prototype. And
That
they
is that
emailed
is
me last
brilliant.
night. Yeah, they emailed me last night. They're like, we're gonna go ahead, right? So when you see the joy in children, when they can believe in themselves, when they finish a product, when all the skills that they learn, which you said earlier, are transferable to their life,
Right.
relevant to their life, that's why I do what I do. That's what keeps me going.
So
Uh,
inspiring. And mentors along the way, opportunities you were provided by the school district, the Peel District School Board. It has such an innovative DNA at the leadership level.
Absolutely. PDSB, we have a phenomenal department that we reach out for support. Even this project, it was funded by the board for us to make this magic happen for the students because the impact is amazing. It's large. It's at a large scale.
Well, kudos to you for all that you do. And what did you study in university? What give me a sense of your background because you will inspire other educators, given that you embrace that innovator's mindset.
Sure. So I have been teaching for about 20 years now. And ever since I was a young girl, I wanted to go into education. So my whole resume is to do with education and working with either adults
Yeah,
or with children. So I started off as an ECE. And then I realized I want to be a teacher working in the public system. I then went ahead and did my master's in child study and education at
nice.
UFT. From there, I worked as a resource librarian, creating lots of bins on various topics and age levels in Milton. And then I got into PDSB, and I've been here since. So
Oh, fantastic.
right now, I have taught all various age groups except for high school,
Wow.
and I've worked with the equity department. And I've also worked as a literacy coach this year. So all of these are, supporting and building capacity, not just with students, but also educators, and how
Right.
do we continue shifting towards a more culturally responsive pedagogy on a daily basis to support students.
Remarkable.
Exactly. And with and with families too, to be honest,
Right.
because when I talk about these 27 businesses,
Right.
I bet you the parents are just as involved and excited. And to hear those bonding moments at home that go beyond the classroom when it comes to innovation has been truly amazing to hear.
So cool. I can't wait to come visit your school and talk about entrepreneurship. Well, one of the exciting things about this year's challenge is that students are being asked to, just as you're doing with the entrepreneurship program, to create prototype startups and programs that takes their learning beyond just talking about ideas. And I'm so impressed with the fact that you actually have them acting as creators, giving them agency, which is the intent of this challenge. Now imagine some educators saying, "This sounds amazing, but I'm not an AI expert." What would you say to them? What would you say to those teachers that, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable with technology or AI"? It's really about giving kids agency and letting them run with it, isn't it? In many ways.
Absolutely. And I think just giving yourself grace as an educator. I tell the students I'm going to make mistakes. I'm very explicit and
Hmm.
almost model the opposite because we when it comes to a business mindset in this day and age when a bad review can, you know, go south really easily, right? How are you
Right.
going to pivot? How are you going to pivot? Even today, when I met with the 3D printing coach, one of the students was so set on making keychain holders, and she was not willing to kind of deviate away from that because that's her
Hmm.
vision, right? But I asked at the end of the day, look at the whole picture. What is going to give you success? What is going to sell? What is going to be for the audiences that we're or customers that we're working with, right? So being able to pivot, being able to, and normalizing making mistakes. I tell the students I don't know anything about AI. I'm still learning, and I genuinely am. And I think that
Right.
kind of helped me ease that um, the reservations, the hesitation that some educators might feel. So just get in there and step back and join them as a learner. No matter what project you're doing, whether it's AI, innovation, math, whatever it might be, give yourselves grace and let them know that we're going to learn this together. So even though you might be the expert or the traditional ways of teaching where you're standing at the front, the kids are just listening to you, you get involved, you become a learner with them, and see where that journey takes you. Because even Robert, when I met you last year, you asked me, how did this big project, like, oh my god, you just saw the end result. But
Right,
I didn't envision that. I didn't envision it to be that big. I knew it was going to be amazing,
right.
the way we planned it, but the impact that it made and the data that we collected with the impact that we made was much bigger because we just ran with it. We went with the
Well,
flow.
brilliant, and that's so beautifully said, Umber. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your thoughtful insight and your journey and inspiration. The 18th Schools of the Future Challenge is a real invitation to educators and students to think boldly and design solutions that matter. With this year's focus on AI and well-being, because in many ways it's been a crisis post-COVID, and I hate saying that word, but the challenge puts student at the center, student agency, student voice, and thriving at the center of innovation. And so, with just 30 days to go, now it's time to take that first step, the spark, those classroom conversations, as you've so eloquently done, and turn the bold ideas into meaningful action. That's what this initiative has always been about for me, and inspiring teachers to share their innovative spirit and on a national scale for helping education get beyond pockets of innovation. I've been talking about that for 25 years, believe it or not. So the great ideas can be amplified across the country. We have over $1 million that's been donated. We got some great prizing, and you've got some great examples of that you can put to work in the prize package that you won last year. With that, any final thoughts to share, Umber?
I just want to say thank you for giving the opportunity for teachers and schools and students to really showcase and celebrate. This was just another form of us celebrating the success. So you've really provided that platform and the opportunity for us. And for any schools that are thinking about this, I really just want to say go for it, because you never know how this meaningful opportunity can, where it lands and the impact that it makes. And I just want to really encourage everyone to apply, to enter the contest, and also to see where this, like I'm so grateful that I'm here with you second year in a row, building and going forward with our partnership, because it really makes a huge difference on our community. So I appreciate that,
Thank
and I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing all the contests
Uh,
and all the participants joining me, because I'm going to be entering as well.
Thank
And
you.
go from there. So I appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you for your inspiring words and for making the time today. And I know you got to get back to the students. If you've been watching this, or if you watch the recorded version, be sure to comment, like, and share, and participate in this year's challenge. Everyone has a child, or they know either as a relative or their own kids that would really benefit from a hands-on experience like the 18th Canadian Schools of the Future AI for Student Wellbeing Challenge. I'm Robert Martellacci, founder of MindShare Learning Media and MindShare TV. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.
Thank you. Bye.